Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of my state series. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I have a series here on the channel where I'm slowly going through all 50 states in the United States and building houses based on those states. Obviously, one build is hard to encompass an entire state, but it's supposed to be a little bit loose and fun and silly, and it all started originally when I was looking through random Zillow listings a couple years ago, and I came across some really funky builds in the state of Wyoming, and I not only built something inspired by some of the weird things I saw in those listings, but I also looked up facts about the state, and we discussed some fun facts while building something based on Zillow listings. So I'm back again today, and we are actually tackling the state of Pennsylvania today, and the reason that I am doing this is because every time I ask for suggestions on what state to tackle next, I get so many comments being like, you need to do Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, please. I really want to see a build with a Pittsburgh toilet. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me tell you a little bit about what a Pittsburgh toilet or a Pittsburgh potty is. It's a really common fixture in pre-World War II houses that were built in like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and the surrounding area. And its primary function was basically to have a zone in the basement that had an exit to the outside for your, I almost said for your Sims, but I guess in this case for your Sims, but for people to wash up in the basement, for like steel mill workers to clean up after returning home from work. And there's usually no surrounding walls. There might be like a big sink, maybe a shower fixture, that sort of thing. And so I wanted to make sure to include this in this build. And I also looked at obviously a ton of Zillow listings trying to figure out what sort of style I wanted to go for this build. And this resembles a lot of the style which from my little bit of research here, I believe it's called an American Foursquare. It's pretty similar to that, the exterior style, but I have this really tall. I was imagining this would be in an area where it was tightly packed with other houses next to it. Obviously, I don't have it that way here because it's not really how The Sims works, but I am building this in the world of Brindleton Bay, and I put a lot of trees and stuff around it. I wanted it to be pretty nature-filled, but I did imagine there would be houses very similar to this on either side of it. This is one of those builds where I pop around from outside to inside a lot because I wanted to make sure that the floor plan was going to work as I worked on the outside, because it was such a narrow house. I just wanted to make sure there was enough space for everything. And I also decorated the bathroom, or not the bathroom, I guess I could call it a bathroom, the basement toilet area first when I actually do start decorating the interior. But I'm just trying to figure out a little bit of placement in here to make sure everything works fine. And we will be getting into some facts about Pennsylvania here shortly, but I first wanted to mention that I do have a playlist in the description down below of all of the state builds I have done thus far. So if you'd like to catch up on any of those, see what we've done for other states, or just see what we've done. So if you wanted to suggest the next state build, you know what has already been done. So I will also mention, since there's not that many, there's only 8 that we've done so far. We have already done Wyoming, Maine, Arizona, Florida, Wisconsin, Louisiana, Vermont, and New York, and now Pennsylvania. So this is the 9th one. So if you have any suggestions other than those state builds that you would like to see, please let me know in the description, or not in the description, in the comments down below. And of course, check out those builds as well. But right here, I'm trying to figure out the entrance to the basement, and I just threw a couple of things down there. We got a toilet and a big sink, and I'm trying to figure out how we're entering into the basement. So I have an area out back that you can get on the stairs and enter from down there, and then we'll be fully decorating that space. I was very excited about this because it is a little something different. I haven't decorated like this before. The places that I've lived in, been to, there were similar things like this in the basement. It was just all of this, the big sink and everything, but the toilet wasn't there. But there's a toilet in this one. And through all the pictures I was looking at of houses that actually did have a Pittsburgh potty or Pittsburgh toilets, some of them were against a wall like this and some were in the middle of the room, but I opted to have it over here. It's still a little odd, and it's going to be fun for gameplay if your Sims are doing laundry and then someone comes down and starts going to the bathroom and then somebody's embarrassed, and I think it'll be really interesting for gameplay. It could also be helpful just having another toilet in the house, so another Sim can use the bathroom. But I also just wanted to clutter up the basement with a bunch of stuff. So it looks like there's a bunch of junk down here, some extra chairs. I have some functional items as well. We have the decoration box, a bookcase, the woodworking table, the place where you can put the elements collection, like just a bunch of stuff down here. And of course, laundry as well. And a couple of vacuum cleaners and just fun things. I had a lot of fun decorating this basement. I like really cluttered builds like this, and the whole house isn't super cluttered. I just wanted the basement to feel like, you know, there's a lot of stuff down here. And of course, I also put the cat litter down here. I did imagine that this house had a cat or two. It made sense to me to have the litter in the basement. I know at least here, that's a very common place to put it if you have a basement. I do not have a basement, unfortunately, but I just thought that that worked nicely. But I'm just playing around with the staircases here and trying to figure out some of the exterior shape, like where I wanted to put the driveway and some of the landscaping, because I do have a slight hill on this lot. I played around with terrain tools in the beginning. I didn't want it to be completely flat, but that makes it a little bit more difficult for adding tile outside, which I wanted to use for the driveway. So I did fiddle with this quite a bit, and it works out okay in the end. Part of the driveway ends up being fenced off, and I have like a little deck space over there. It's not really a deck space, it's just an outdoor area, but it's on the tiled portion. And that works out pretty nicely. There ends up being a little bit of a backyard. It's not like a super extravagant put together backyard. It's like, oh, we have some grass back here. Let's throw out a couple activities, but that's really it. Which is my experience in real life with anyone that had a yard. Nobody had like a really beautifully landscaped and like perfect backyard, and nobody had in-ground pools or anything like that. If you had a pool, you were rich, and it was an above-ground pool. That was my experience anyway. I know that's different than everyone's, but I tend to decorate based on things that I'm more familiar with, at least with backyards. And I never really had one. I had a front yard and a small side yard, and there was nothing on it because it was all hill. So, you know, but anyway, I didn't feel like this house needed like a really fancy backyard anyway. I think it came out pretty cute. Let me know what your experience is with if people had pools or fancy yards, or did you have an outdoor space? It's very interesting hearing all of the different experiences. Anyway, here I'm just figuring out the staircase, and then we're moving on into the kitchen area. I kept it with these really simple base game cabinetry. Based on the listings I was looking at, I felt like I really wanted to go for something that was a bit outdated on the interior for this house instead of having something that was renovated, because it seemed to be one or the other when I was looking at this style of homes in that area. They were either like outdated like this or perfectly brand new, that's not a word. Brandly, I just said it again, but like just renovated and perfect. And I didn't really want to go for that vibe. I felt like it took away from the character of the house a little bit. So I went for a more outdated, a little bit grungy, but like not that grungy. It's just like, you know, maybe we could get some new tile in here at some point. I thought it would be fun and something you could definitely renovate and make more modern. And I think that could be fun. But yeah, just cluttering up the kitchen. Got some like jars and spices and utensils, of course, a cutting board. I'm trying to think what else I add in here. A plant, of course. I love that little plant. Something about that one. It just makes me really happy. And then I believe I added just a trash can and a pet food bowl over here. Yeah, I think that's it for the kitchen for the most part. And we're moving into the living room. This one's a little bit of a weird layout because the fireplace is not centered in the room. It's just kind of tucks over in the corner. So it didn't like work well to center a couch with that area. So I thought about putting like a table and chairs over there, which I didn't end up doing in the end. I ended up moving that. But I did use these couches from base game and kind of turn them into a sectional, like a more traditional looking sectional. I thought it was really pretty. I went back and forth a couple of times on the color, but I ended up with, I think, the green one in the end. I could be wrong. I think I changed it to the beige. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I changed it to the beige. We'll see here in a minute. But I thought it looked pretty realistic to what I think of for this kind of house. Just like a really cozy big couch for a family. This is also only a 2-bedroom house. But you could have a decent amount of Sims in it. And you could definitely like renovate the basement and turn that into another bedroom if you wanted to. I wanted this just to be sort of an older house, and a lot of these houses were built like between 1900 and like 1930, so I was trying to make it like, I don't know, a little bit outdated. I'm not sure it really resembles that era, but like usually when you buy a house that was built in that era, it's not still retaining everything from that time. It was renovated at some point, but it is currently outdated because maybe it was renovated in like the 70s or slightly earlier, slightly later, but in 2022. It is no longer up to date. And I just wanted it to be a cozy family home, and I think I achieved that. You can let me know what you think if you enjoy this, and if you don't. I guess both of those are fine. Let me know. But if you do like this build and you would like to download it, I will have it available on the Sims 4 gallery. You'll be able to find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, GRYPHI. You can also find it under the hashtag MissGryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. And this house also comes in at 83,678 simoleons, and it is placed on the sporting space lot in Brindleton Bay. Anyway, the living room has come together, and we're working on the downstairs bathroom. It just has, a shower, a toilet, a sink, all of the simple things. That kind of grungy tile from, or I guess it's linoleum, that came from Strangerville. I think it's really nice and looks realistic to what I've seen in real life, and it's just a little bit dirty, but I think it works beautifully for what I was going for. And then I also put some tile in this room on the walls, and I believe a curtain over the window as well, and just a couple of decorations. And then we're moving upstairs to the bedrooms. So one of the things I like to do when I post these state videos is to do a little bit of research about the state, not only like some regular facts about, what the state is, where it is, how big it is, all that kind of stuff, but also some fun facts as well. And I tend to, talk about that throughout the entire video. But for some reason, even though I did all that research and I have this big document here, I forgot to talk about it. And I did the rest of the voiceover just chatting about what I was doing on screen, decorating these bedrooms, which they look nice. But I think you can figure out what's going on, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania is actually officially called the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's the 33rd largest by area and the 5th most populous in the United States, with over 13 million residents. Its state capital is Harrisburg, but other key cities include Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, which we are focusing on today, Lancaster, and Erie, and it is one of the 13 original colonies. And it actually used to be the capital city of the United States in the 1790s, as the Declaration of Independence was signed in Philadelphia in 1776. It is also the only original colony not bordered by the Atlantic Ocean, and you might be familiar with the sports team, the football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that comes from the fact that Pittsburgh is famous for manufacturing steel. Also, the first daily newspaper was published in Philadelphia in 1786, and that wasn't the only first that the state and the city of Philadelphia had, because the first computer also existed in Philadelphia in 1946. There's a lot of firsts here because Pennsylvania is also the first state of the 50 United States to list their website URL on a license plate, and we just passed a very questionable holiday here in the United States called Groundhog Day, which is when a groundhog looks to see if they see their shadow to let us know if there's going to be more winter or if spring is on its way. And his name is Puxatawny Phil, and he is from Puxatawny, Pennsylvania. And so every year on February 2nd, the town has a celebration featuring art shows, crafts, and music and stuff to celebrate, and it's a bit of a tourist attraction. Well, we're coming to the end of the video here, so I'm going to power through these. The Philadelphia Zoo was the first public zoo in the United States, and it was founded by Benjamin Franklin. Betsy Ross made the first American flag in Philadelphia. Hershey, Pennsylvania is home to the Hershey Chocolate Factory, and is considered the chocolate capital of the United States. And lastly, Pennsylvania is also home to the Crayola Factory, where nearly 3 billion crayons are produced each year. I hope you enjoyed those fun facts, and I really hope you enjoyed this build of a home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as part of my state series. Do let me know what other states you would like to see me tackle, and like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so much for watching, enjoy the screenshots, and I will see y'all soon. Bye everyone.